Some 3 years ago, I did a walk around video at Culvers Syndicate, so I thought it was time for an update because it's changed an awful lot in that 3 years. This is the car park with the portaloo and our notice board where all the relevant information is posted for the members. Let's show you the lakes. As you walk down the slope from the car park, this is the first view you get. Lovely manicured lawns, lots of pretty trees, shrubs, and two beautiful lakes to fish. The lakes are stream fed. As you can see, there's a fair bit of water going through. Even though we've had a fair bit of rain, this is quite normal. There is a little pond up above, but that's in Mrs. Pittman's garden, and that's very private. Let's show you our first lake. This is the first lake you come to. It's called Middlemead, and it's our pleasure lake. As you can see, the fishing stations are barked. Everything's fairly well kept. We do try. And this is a lovely little corner, little bay and an island looking back down the lake. Well, here's the other side of that same island. You see there's a little peninsula of land going out into the lake where two people can fish. Their own separate water, but from the same peg. In this lake there are carp to low double figures, bream to £5 or £6, perch, tench, roach, rudd, even brown trout. The far bank is unfishable, it's all tree lined, but that just makes it even better because nobody's casting over you. Looking back down towards the next peg, you'll see again it's a peninsula. Let's just wander down there. Well, here we are. The second peninsula, laid out pretty much like the first one, with a barked area where two people can fish. Now we're down the dam end of Middlemead. Just one fishing station there, lots of snags. This is the deepest end of the lake. We'll look back up this pretty little lake. It's not huge, somewhat less than an acre, but there are 5 proper fishing stations here, although nobody minds if you fish between them. The fishery is run by CM Fisheries Limited, the same people who run the islands at Mere and own the islands at Mere. Right, there's the pleasure lake. Let's go and show you the carp lake. Well, how about this for a pretty place? I'm stood on the causeway just below the dam from Middlemead. This is Lower Mead, somewhat bigger, somewhere around about the 3 acre mark I think. Mainly carp in here. Lots and lots of doubles to low 20s. They're growing all the time and the membership thoroughly enjoys catching them. Well, here we are, peg 1. It's the peg I'm fishing today, although I've wound in to make this video. The shallowest end of the lake. I love it here for floater fishing. You can see there's a few fish on the top now. They're proving very elusive today, unfortunately. This bay top end can get very, very weedy. It's just beginning to grow. We do try to manage it, but as with all things natural, it's not the easiest of jobs. Later on in the summer, this peg will probably be unfishable, unless we've come in and raked it again. Peg 2. My favourite peg on the lake, I think. You've got the benefit of the shallow water with the weed, you've got an island, you've got the far bank to cast to, and the fish love it up this end, especially when there's an influx of water. We have a drop of rain and the fresh water is coming down through the lake. This is the end they like to be. Well, this is still peg 2, looking down the lake. Peg 1 and 2, very social pegs. Even though they've got their own water, they're probably only 15 feet apart. But they're sort of angled so you're fishing different ways. Very popular as a social peg, this one. Looking down the bank towards peg 3, you can see there's a fair old gap. Lots of space on here, not overloaded with pegs. And it's a very limited membership of 50. Peg 3 controls the bottom end of the island. There is a reed bed across the far side, and as you can see, quite a lot of weed growth. There is a peg opposite, tucked into the trees, but the times that pegs are full here, very, very few and far between. peg 4. This is probably one of the pegs that I fished and had more fish from on the lake. I love it for its versatility. You've got a nice snaggy area on the far bank, which is a reasonable chuck, so you feel like you're achieving something. You can just see across there. If nobody's opposite, you can get back into that bay, and if nobody's on peg 3, you can get back the back side of that island where the weed grows. Very, very versatile peg, especially if you're here on your own. Peg 5 commands the top end of this island and the bay proper that you've just seen from the last peg. Again, a very, very versatile peg. Lots and lots of fish coming close. In fact, if you look down here, there's an awful lot of colour in the margins now. This is peg 6. We won't stay here long because Margot's stalking right in close at the edge. You can see we've got the little island and that far bay. Lovely peg. Okay, peg 7. This is down towards the dam end of the lake. As you can see, there's a big back bay with the monk over the far side where the water goes out again, and that's the dam wall. This is really good fishing in the winter. Well, this is the view from the dam wall looking back up the lake. We've just walked down the nice tidally mown side where most people like to bivvy up. Certainly more comfortable bivvying up that side, and you can night fish both lakes if you want. However, if you want to night fish on the top lake, the one we call Middle Mead, then don't expect to get much sleep. It's a very busy old lake. This one here can be, and it can also be soul destroying. Today I've been floater fishing. I've had them feeding on the top. I've had one missed chance. They're quite cute fish in here already. Well, this is the other end of the dam. You can see the monk where the water goes out, maintains the level. This is the start of what I like to think of as the stalking bank. It's wooded, it's overgrown, and it's tight. There's some really lovely tight little snaggy swims with wee beds and islands. I'll show you. As you can see, the paths this side are nowhere near as wide or as well mowed or anything like that, but the fishing platforms are still nice and accessible. I like it actually because it gives you the best of both worlds. If you want to camp and plot it out for your fish, you can. If you want to go stalking, go looking for them, this is the side to do it. Well, here we are, peg 8, looking back over towards the monk. It's the deepest area of the lake, and again, very good water in the winter. In the summer, you can come down here and find nearly every fish in the lake on the top though. Certainly a lake you need to work at. Well, here we have peg 9, the back of the bottom island. Certainly where you want to get up close and personal. Very much stalking water, although you have got little bits of bay both to the left and right. This is from the back of that little bay I just showed you, looking across the back of the island, peg 9 smack in the middle of this bit of water. You see what I mean about up close and personal. Well, this is peg 10. Although you have got a little bit of open water out by the tree, you can see that really it's another intimate snaggy peg. End of the island and a lovely big weed bed. At the back of the island you can see some of the residents. It's not even sunny, but they love it up at the top here. There's a pair of commons there. One's low doubles, the other one's a little bigger. You can see how different this side is. This is the path between peg 10 and peg 11. Lovely. And here's peg 11. Back of the first island. Lots and lots of snags. Certainly not a place you'd want to bivvy up and go to sleep. You need to be on your rods at all times. The fish are in this bay actually at the moment. I just filmed a couple on the top, but there's fish in here. Margot's been round and put some bait in, I know. This little snaggy cove we deliberately leave. We've let the trees grow across so you can't cast into it, and you'd be foolish to cast a line in there with that number of snags. You'd never get one out. Gives them somewhere to hide. And here we are back at the top end again, looking across to peg 1, where I'm going to go back and see if I can get one of these fish off the top. They're frustrating me today. Hope you enjoyed your quick look around Culvers.